And former White House chief strategist Steve Bannon is questioning Biden's past financial relationship with China. One America's Ryan Girdusky attended a conference on the threat posed by Beijing and has more from New York.
The Committee for Press and Danger held a conference in New York City on Thursday where speakers including Steve Bannon emphasized the threat China posed to the United States. They also stated that the United States should not rush into any trade agreements currently with China. Steve Bannon was extremely critical of former Vice President Joe Biden, who announced his candidacy for president earlier that day.
President Trump forcing these structural changes to the Chinese economy, not just dealing with buying more soybeans, that you really have an opportunity here to really integrate the Chinese economy into the world economy. And so I think that is what's, and Joe Biden was there he was there for the time that the Chinese built the stationary islands in the South China Sea, which are essentially aircraft carriers. They've put military radars on it, put military combat planes on them. And so Joe Biden's got a lot to answer for. He's got a lot to answer for when President Xi came to the Rose Garden, signed a deal with President Obama, looked President Obama in the eye, looked the American people in the eye in the Rose Garden, said no more cyber intrusions into networks, no more intellectual property theft, cyber theft. And then what did the Chinese government do? They doubled down. This is not about the Chinese people. The Chinese people are among the most hardworking, decent people in the world. This is about a radical cadre of the CCP, of the Chinese Communist Party, that was nurtured along by the Clinton administration, the Bush administration, and the Obama administration. Joe Biden's got to go to Pennsylvania today, and he's got to talk to those blue-collar workers. It was Donald Trump that put in the tariffs on aluminum and steel that started bringing the jobs back, that started to get the foundries working again. Biden's got to stop the happy talk. He's got to talk about his financial relationships with the Chinese Communist Party, the financial institutions of China, like the Bank of China, what his relationship is with it, what his son's relationship is with it, this $1.5 billion hedge fund or private equity fund that they developed. And he's got to answer the questions. When he took his son over, I think it was on Air Force Two in 2013, was the son allowed to go into official meetings? Did the son also meet with the Bank of China? Because they announced 10 days afterwards this deal. All of that has to be vetted, right? They've taken 2 years to look at every piece of minutia about Russia and President Trump. It's now time to have the Democrats start to answer up for their relationships with the Chinese Communist Party and their relationships with the radical cadre that runs China.
Gordon Chang was quick to note that China was not an honest trading partner and that the U.S. needed to move further away from the communist country.
We've had so many agreements with the Chinese over the course of especially the last 3 decades, and the Chinese have violated all of them. So why do we think that the remedy for all of this is a new trade agreement? Unfortunately, I think we're going to have to disengage, because all the other strategies that we have tried, although they sound good to the ear, although they sound generous, they just have not worked. So we need to try something new, and the one thing that we haven't tried is to disengage. And we know that disengaging will minimize their attempts to steal U.S. intellectual property, also will minimize their ability to gain on us through trade violations, which they've done in the past. If we're two separate economies, we're going to be much better.
The panelists praised the Trump administration and said that structural change is ahead. This is Ryan Girdusky, One America News, New York.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.